Well, hello everybody. This is the assembly series on the U140 transmission. If anybody's interested in the teardown or disassembly video, that's in a separate series, so you can look it up if you like. But I've got my components, I've got everything super clean, and we're getting ready to go back together with this. This is going to be another long video, but it's going to be extremely detailed, and we're going to go from A to Z. So let's get underway. Alright, well, I'm starting on the valve body just to get it out of the way. I've got all my components laid out the way they came out of the transmission. They've been lubricated with some ATF, and I'm getting ready to put them together. I may have to stop the video here and there if I hit in a rough spot, but here we go. This is where the first valve will go, or piston, or whatever you want to call it. Gets the spring with the piston, goes face first down in here. Push it a little bit, make sure that spring is on there if I can see it. Yep, spring is on there, ready to roll. And then there's the end plug that goes in here. Like this. I'll try to push it in, get it started straight. I'm going to push it in with my thumb, and the keeper goes right here in this little slot. So I'll push that in there and stick in the keeper, and there's number one. The number two setup starts in with the piston, of course, and there's a washer that goes on that. I'll try to drop this down in there, but it's got to go in a bore that's way in there. I just noticed that, so I'm not sure exactly how this is going to pan out, but we'll give it a go. Okay, just wiggling it around with my finger, and you can see it just seat in right there. It gets followed by this large spring, just like so. And then we've got two components right here that go together. This will drop down in here, just like that, I believe. No, it goes like this. The fat side goes in here first. That looks right. I need to do a quick confirmation here. Sorry about that. Bear with me. Yeah, goes just like that. This is one that's a factory adjustment. You have to know how it came out. That's part of the disassembly video. That's very important. I know how mine came out. Never done this but one time. Get that back in there. Get it the way I had it. Try to come up this way. Shooting this in real time. Okay, this is going to probably take some effort to get all this down in there. This little pin goes in the end, like so. I need to try to push this in here and drop a round pin down in this hole to encapsulate everything. Am I starting? Okay, I've got it started, but that center pin, it's like it's in there too far. That center thing I put in. Try to back it out. This is where I'm starting to. Okay, making it up as I go. Try to push down on this and see if I can get to that. Alright. Nope. Alright, I'm going to start over on this one off camera. I will get it together. Alright, well I finally got it in there. Basically what I did is I pushed this wasn't even in yet. I pushed this outer ring down and just barely got that roll pin or that pin started in there. Just beyond that, then I slid this in and worked it down. It was really easy to do. Never done it before. So now we're moving into the number 3 setup right here. Pretty straightforward. I've got my spring and my valve. It's going to go in this way. I'm going to go ahead and try to start feeding these up into the holes rather than dropping them down. Okay, I can see my spring is seated all the way. And then the end plug, I'll push this down and start the end plug. Try to get it started straight. Things are slippery. There, it started in there. Switch to my thumb. And then right here is where that keeper goes. Just like that. Now we're moving into number 4. Pretty much the same as the last one. Start working this up in that hole. Kind of watching through the cavities to make sure the spring gets through everything, and it has bottomed out right there. Go back this way again, hold that piston. The end plug, of course, will go on. Again, try to get it started straight, and there it is. Switch to my thumb. Grab the retainer or keeper. Make sure it's all the way in. There we go. We've got one more to go, which is this one right here. The spring goes on the back this time. So I will try to start this one in. Now this one doesn't have a plug on the end. I need to push that spring down beyond the slot for the keeper. And the keeper in this instance is shaped like this. It goes in this direction. I hope I have something here I can push this down with. I'll try this little screwdriver. Well, before I do that, let me go ahead and get the keeper in the hole. Try to hold it with my finger here. I'm going to try to push this down beyond that point. Okay, I've got it worked over the top. Now I'm going to try to push the other side of the spring down. There, we're working down. Almost there. Come on. And there we go. That's the way this one terminates right here. Make sure all the keepers are fully seated, and they are. And that completes installing the valves in the lower section, with the exception of the manual shift valve, which I'll install last. So now we'll move up to the upper. I believe there are 10 in it we need to do. Alright, well now I'm working on the upper half of the valve body. I'm going to be doing these 6 valves first, and then I'll come back and do these. I don't have everything out here yet. I didn't have the space, so I am going to turn this around, and I am starting with number 1 right here. That one has this particular part of a valve in it with a little notch up front and a cavity in the back. There's going to be a check ball that goes in there, and then this piece goes in, and it will simply get slid up into the hole. No spring on this at all, and then of course I will install the retainer. I call them keepers, but I think they're actually retainers. Now I'm moving into number 2. So there's the piston. There's a hole here. That's where the spring will go in. And it will go right up in here. That's bottomed out. Spring wants to stick out a little bit right here. Then the plug for the end will go in, and then the retainer or keeper for it. There we go, looking good. Number 3's got quite a few components on it, which goes in here. We got this section that goes in. We've got a spring right here. I think I can go ahead and install these. And that piston is bottomed out, or valve. And then there are these two sections that go together like this. Okay, this has a slot on the top and then a notch in the side. That notch needs to line up with this hole right here, so I can install this pin. So I am going to start that in there and eyeball that going in. And try to work this pin down in that hole right there. And there it went. Make sure it's seated all the way. It is now. Okay. Then we're moving into number 4. Got this piston, valve, a spring. It goes in first. That one didn't just go in there. Let me try to. Oh, I believe that's, no, that's not as far as it goes. Double check that. Yeah, that's where it should go. Oh, okay. That one's kind of stiff. I'm going to take that one back out and put some more ATF on it to make sure that that will actuate. Alright, well that just turned out to be a dry valve or piston there. It was just something that didn't feel right to me, so I wanted to catch it now before it went into the car. Of course, the spring goes behind that, and now we've got the plug that goes in the end. Try to get that lined up if I can. Work that in there and put the keeper in. That went a little too far. There we go. Put the keeper in there. Looking good. Actuates properly. And now we're on the next one, which is going to be this valve right here. Goes in first, followed by this really long spring. Make sure that seats in, and it did. That's a long way to go. There's no end plug on this. It's another one of these pieces here, which actually sits this way. That's a long way to go. Let's see here. I'm going to tilt it up on its end like this, and hopefully I don't shoot that spring across the shop, but I'm going to try to get in here and hold it down if I can. Oh, this is going to be crazy. I don't know the best tool to use here. Let me go ahead and get that in the slot like I'd done before. I'm going to hold a little downward pressure on it. Try to push this down beyond. Try to catch it if I can. No, I didn't get it. Okay, there I got 1/2 of it. Switch to a screwdriver and try to push this side down. Carefully. Ooh, it's about to pop out. It popped out. I don't know the best way to do this. I'm just winging it. I am not a transmission specialist, but I will get this thing put together, I assure you. Okay, that's not working out for me right there. I'm going to give one more shot at this, and then I may have to come up with another plan. Alright, here we go again. Come on, work with me. Definitely got it down. It's coming. Come on. Almost there. Aha! Got it. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got one to go. Everything's looking good. This last one right here is going to start in with a spring. And here is the plunger valve piston for it. Seems like it's going to work fine. It simply gets a plug on the end. Again, more tension, pushing. I'm not really in the best position for this. There we go. Didn't quite go in all the way. There's a lot of tension on this one. It's not, that plug is not really wanting to go in all the way. Oh, almost lost everything. Alright, well this plug is going to go in, and then the final keeper. I'll monkey with this and get it in there, and then we'll move on. Alright, well I got that one in right here. That spring tension is pretty stout. My thumbs and fingers are hurting. I've got 4 more to go, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start here on this one. Just trying to be detailed here. That goes in with a spring first, followed by this long thing with a hole in the end of it, this valve. It will go up in this hole. Okay, there it is. It gets followed by a plug. My fingers are slick. There's the plug. Then the retainer. Keeper goes right there. Moving into the next one. This spring. This valve. Just like so. Another end plug. A little bit of tension on this one. There it goes. Keeper. Yeah, almost lost that. There we go. And then the very next one, we've got this that goes in first. That's kind of one of the ones that wants to go into a smaller bore down in there. Okay, so that's seated in, no problems. Then we've got 3 components that go together. These 3 items. Dropping the spring in here first, like so. And then this little internal piston, it's got a hole in it. It goes just like that. You notice this section right here that's cut out of this circumference. That's actually going to face up when I get it in there. Try to do it like this if I can. Okay. Push that in. And the retainer goes right here. Okay. Hopefully you can see how I've pushed that in deep enough, and there's the retainer coming down to encapsulate that. Last one. Hopefully it will be easy. This valve, this spring, going right up in this hole right here. I don't know if that went all the way in. I kind of feel like it did not. Yep, there it went. Okay. One more plug right here. And the final keeper. Ooh. Last one's always a problem. Okay, there we go. Alright, that completes the assembly of the valves of the lower and the upper. Now we get to continue on and put these two together. Alright, well I've got the lower valve body sitting in here again. I need to install this cooler relief valve and spring. It simply goes right here in this hole, just like so. It's been lubricated as well. Now there are a series of check balls that go in here. 5 on this one, possibly 6, and I'll get to that, but I'm going to drop them in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, up here there's a spot for a check valve. It may or may not have one depending on the unit you have, but if you take this plate and you lay it over here, it's actually in this arena right here. If you have no hole in this plate, you have no check ball. If you have a hole right here where the check ball would be just below it, you install a ball. I personally do not, so that's what I'm doing. Now I need to bring in the upper valve body. So I will do that because there's some check balls that we need to install in here as well. And there should be 5 balls in here. So here is 1, goes right there, 2, 3, 4, and where's the last one? Right here, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The kit comes with 11. But we've only used 10 because I did not have a hole in my plate. Okay. So I need to install the screen filters on this, and these are the new filters that came with it, with the accompanying O-rings. These are like a nylon mesh or something like that. My original filters, which are right here, are a stainless steel mesh. Nice, they're super clean. I've taken the O-rings off and put the O-rings from the kit on these. So we need to install those. I'm going to put a little bit of transmission fluid on the O-rings. And we're going to drop them in where they go. The large one simply goes right here in this hole. So I'll push it in. There it is. And the small one goes down here in this hole right here. So I'll do the same thing and push that one in. I'm going to take a small screwdriver and make sure I'm actually seated here. Looking good. Now that should be everything there, but we need to flip this over and get it on the plate, but we do not want to drop the balls. So I will take this plate, and I believe it sits this way. That looks correct to me. I need to flip it over and set it down, but I'm going to rotate it first. So now I've got that in place. I can grab the plate up under here and flip it over, and I've not lost any of the check balls, and just simply set it down where it goes and kind of move things into position. Alright, well, there are two 10mm check balls that need to be installed. One goes right here and the other right here. I'm going to put on this retainer and bolt, and this happens to be a 41mm bolt. It goes right in here to encapsulate this check ball, but it does not get tightened up yet. I'm just trying to get everything lined up here. Still don't have it. There it goes. Just finger tight, get that in place. Now I need to install the cover and the gasket, and I've gone through my kit and confirmed that this is the gasket that goes right here. I'm going to make one more visual inspection, make sure there's nothing in there, and I'm going to lay the gasket down where it goes. And this plate will simply sit right atop that. Just like that. Now there are a series of bolts that go in here. I'm going to start with the ones that are 41mm and just drop them in and finger tighten them up, just for reference on where they go. Starting right here in this corner. May have to wiggle things around a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. And then we've got one that goes here. Not going to run them all the way in just to save some time. Got that. We've got one that goes right here, I believe. Yep. We've got these two that come in right here. There's one, and then two right here. Now I've got a final one that I believe goes right here. So that's that. Now I've got a 30mm bolt that actually goes right here. And I've got a myriad of 14mm bolts. I'll just show where they go. One right here. 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 It's going to be a little long-winded. This one here. This one here, I believe. And this one right here. And then I'm remaining with one 10mm bolt that goes right here. Alright, all the fasteners have been snugged up. All the 10mm bolts in here get 8 foot-pounds, which I'm using a 1/4 inch torque wrench or inch pounds, so that's 96 inch-pounds to make 8 foot-pounds. So I'm going to torque all the 10s at that. There's no specific torque pattern that they show, so I'm just going to work my way around until I hit all the 10s. So starting right here in the middle, there's that one. Move out to this one. There we go. Take me a moment to do all these. Go ahead and move to this one in the middle. back to this one. I will double check all these and make sure I got them all. We were here. Got one out here on the end. And then one right here. The 8mm bolts will get torqued down to, I believe, 58 inch-pounds. Confirm that, yes. So I need to run this down to 58, and I will get those torqued as well. Same principle, I'll just start here and work my perimeter. Alright, well, I've torqued all these bolts down to specification. I need to install the accumulator pistons in these bores right here. These are just simply going in the way they came out. So here goes one piston. Right there, and one on this side. There we go. The springs are color coded the way mine came out. They may be different from one to the next, so I'm just putting them in the way they came out. One here, one here. There's a washer that will go on top of each of these. And of course I need to compress this and install the snap rings in each one. And hopefully this will be an uneventful situation, but let me go ahead and get my snap ring lined up here. There we go. I'm in the bore. Maybe in there. Oh, there it went. Okay. Just double checking. That one seems good. Do the next one the same way. Okay, that one's not quite in there. I really need to get my head in here with a light so I can see, but I'm trying to refrain from that. And there it is. Good to go. Alright, we're coming down the home stretch on this valve body. I'm going to install some solenoids coupled with bolts. I'm just kind of do things in order by the length of the bolts themselves. Everything's been lubricated. This particular solenoid goes right here, and this bolt is 45mm in length. And then the very next one below it, which goes right here, right here, has another 45mm bolt that goes in this hole right here. And then moving down into the bottom, let's see, I believe it's this one right here. This is going in this direction. And this is a what? 12mm. Looks like I skipped over a 10, but we will get there. I believe this one goes right there, yes. This one goes in this port. And this goes down in here. which again was 45 millimeters. We've got this solenoid that goes down in this arena right here. This one is held with a 12 millimeter bolt. Alright, so there's a series of 41s that go in here, so I'm going to drop them in and get them started in. There's one there, one goes right here, one right here, I've got 3 that go in this arena right here, one more here, and the last one goes right here. Now there is another 10 millimeter check ball that goes in this hole right there. And there's a spring that goes above it, just like that. And then this retainer goes right here. And this happens to be a 12 millimeter bolt, so I will get it started right there. These will all be taken down to the surface. All the 10 millimeter bolts will get torqued down to 8 foot-pounds or 96 inch-pounds, and all the 8s that are in here will get torqued to, I believe, 58 inch-pounds. Alright, all the fasteners have been torqued to specification. The last piece of this puzzle is to install the manual shift valve, which has been lubricated, and there we go. That completes the valve body portion of this. This will be packed away in plastic until it's ready to go into the transmission right before the pan goes on. Cleanliness is the key on these things. I'm using the same tools to put this together as I did to tear it down, but they have been super cleaned before I went back together. Reason being, I don't want to use dirty tools and introduce contaminants into this while it should be fresh and new.